Land in your tall seat and feel your hands land onto your legs. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Relax the jaw and the eyebrows. Feel the inhales rise up through the spine, up toward the crown of the head, sitting tall, alert, yet calm. If you'd like, continuing with your same intention or setting a new one. Bowing your head to your chest to seal it in, taking it with you through your practice. Please blink the eyes open, and we'll shift forwards onto hands and knees. Shoulders above wrists, hips over knees. And instead of cat-cow, flexion, dorsiflexion through the spine, we are going to move through side body. Exhaling, take right shoulder toward right hip. Strengthen right side, stretch left side. Inhale back through center. And as you exhale, take left shoulder toward left hip. Right side lengthens. Inhale, spine straight forwards. Exhale, shorten the right side, lengthen left side. Inhale back to middle. Exhale, left side shortens, strengthens. Back to middle, one more each. Exhale, right shoulder toward right hip moves forwards. Inhale to center. Exhale, left shoulder, left hip. Coming back to the middle. From here, as you inhale, extend your right arm straight out in front toward the height of the shoulder. As you exhale, release back to the floor. Left arm, inhale, extend straight out. Exhale, release. As you inhale, press the left foot straight back behind left hip, keeping the core strong, navel lifted. Exhale, release back to the floor, making sure we're not back bending through any of these movements. Inhale, extend your right leg straight back behind. Exhale, lower. Work through opposite limbs, right arm and left leg. Inhale, extend. Exhale, lower to the floor. Left arm, right leg. Inhale, extend out. Exhale, release. One more each. Right arm, left leg. Inhale, long from hand to foot. Exhale, release. Left arm, right leg. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. From here, extend your left leg straight back behind you again. And this time, cross the left toes past the right edge of the mat. So taking our side-to-side curves from the beginning and increasing them even more. Look back past right shoulder toward the left foot off the side of your mat. Still breathing. Inhale, spine straight forwards. Extend the left leg straight back behind again. And release the knee to the floor. Right leg, inhale, extend back. From here, cross the right toes past left edge of the mat. Now, the navel may want to dip slightly. Keep the navel drawn up and under. Stretch through right side. Look past left shoulder toward where the foot has landed on the outside of the mat. Inhale, torso straight forwards. Right leg extends back behind the hips. And release the right foot back to the floor. From here, tuck the toes. We'll move back into down dog. Pedal the feet so we could keep the knees super bend. Extension through spine and arms. Knees soft. And walk the feet forwards. Come into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to a half lift. Shoulders back, keeping that same extension from yesterday. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, raise all the way up. Hands overhead. Hands to heart center. Inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Interlace last 3 fingers, pointers up. Point up and over to the right. Curve long through left side body. Inhale, point up. Point up and over to the left. Curve long through right side. Inhale to lift. Hands to heart center, keeping the feet about hip width for chair pose. As you exhale, hug the lowest ribs in, draw the navel back, sitting back to chair, staying to breathe here. Now I've taken my feet to hip width for chair. You're welcome if you prefer to keep the legs together for chair, either option. And as you inhale, raise the arms up overhead, stand tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back with your left leg for kneeling lunge. Inhale to raise the chest, raise the arms up overhead, stay to breathe here for a moment. And as the left knee is on the floor, left hand will stay lifted. Take right hand to right hip. Exhale, reach up and over your right shoulder with your left hand, starting to curve from left knee to hand. Keep the left hip moving forwards. We may feel this through hip flexor, through the psoas, maybe the outside seam of the leg. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Hands down around the right foot. Taking the left knee off the floor, extend your right leg back to three-legged dog. Down dog, release back to the ground. Walk, step, or hop forwards, come back up to the top of the mat. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, raise all the way up, hands overhead. Hands to heart center. Feet back to your preferred stance for chair pose. Inhale, lift the chest slightly. Exhale, sit back to chair, keeping the hips, the knees, the feet all about the same width, whether they're together, whether they're wide. Legs strong. Inhale, stand all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, extension through spine. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step your right leg back to a kneeling lunge, right knee to the floor. Inhale, raise the chest, raise the arms, staying to breathe here. Draw the navel back toward the spine, increasing what you feel through right hip. And right knee is down, right arm will stay up, left hand to left hip. Exhale, reach up and over, right hand over left shoulder, long line through whole right side. Inhale, lift both arms back up overhead. And exhale, fold hands down around the left foot. Straighten the right knee off the floor. Inhale, left leg back to three-legged dog. And down dog, release to the floor. Breathing here, 2 to 3 breaths. And take the knees down onto the floor. Walk the knees a little wider than the hips, coming into a wide-legged child's pose. Torso can rest on or maybe between the knees, hands moving forwards. And if this is uncomfortable to keep the arms in front, we can always stack the hands, the wrists, the forearms, resting the forehead onto them if you'd prefer. Rebuild back up onto hands and knees. Tuck the toes back to down dog. Walk, step, or hop forwards. Half lift at the top of your mat. Exhale, fold. Raise all the way up, hands overhead. Hands to heart center. Taking your hands to your hips, please. Step the right leg back. Come into a wide leg stance. And releasing hands behind the back, or if you'd like, grab our towel, grab our strap, holding on to the ends to give the chest a little bit more room. And as you exhale, folding forward, leading with the chest, raising the hands up away from the low back, maybe behind the head, tipping the weight towards the ball of the foot, toward the toes. Heels may even get a little bit light, keeping them on the floor, but like you could feel a little sliver of air underneath them. On your inhale, come back to a wide leg half lift, setting the strap off to the side. If you'd like, Planting the right hand below the face onto the ground or planting the right hand onto a block. Take the left hand to left hip, roll the chest open. And we'll keep the hand to the hip this time, not staying as long as we did for our last practice. And release the left hand to the block or to the floor. Right hand to right hip, roll the chest open toward the back of the mat. And release the right hand back to the block. From here, stack the block on a higher setting if you do have one. There's another option to do this, but we'll come back to it later. Spine strong, take the hands to the front of the hips and stand all the way up. Rotate left knee, left toes toward the front of your mat. Shrug the right heel back about 45 degrees for warrior two. Inhaling the arms up at the height of the shoulders. Bend into the left knee. With your exhale, plant left elbow onto the left thigh. Raising right arm straight up, or if you'd like to, extend it forwards alongside right cheek or right ear. Long line from right foot to right hand. Can look up just past right elbow. If it's more comfortable, keep the head straight forwards on the shoulders. We could look down if that is more grounding at this point in time as well. Raise back up, coming into a reverse warrior. Left arm lifts high, right hand can find right leg. Stack the spine back to warrior two. Return the hands to the hips. Flip the feet, toes in front of the heels, and we'll switch sides. Right knee, right toes to the back of the mat. Shrug the left heel back. If you feel like our stance is lengthened, you're welcome to shorten it. Bend into the right knee. Inhale the arms up, warrior two. And as you exhale, take right elbow onto right thigh, left arm straight up over shoulders or extension forwards. Long line from left heel to left hand. Legs strong. Inhale, reverse warrior. Right arm lifts. Stack the spine back to warrior two. Return the hands to the hips. Pivot the feet forwards. Now we'll take our puppy pose variation in a wide leg forward fold. So if you have a block, go ahead and use it here. If you'd prefer, if you don't have a block, you can go to a chair. You can go to a counter. You can let the elbows rest onto it, or you can let the outer pinky edge of the hands rest onto it. You'll see what I mean in just a moment here. Inhale the arms up to a T shape or a Y shape. Exhale, wide leg fold. Letting the hands land onto our block or moving to a space where you can land elbows or pinky finger edge of the hands. As you exhale, release the chest through the arms. So again, this may look like elbows if you are onto a chair, onto perhaps your peninsula or island in the kitchen, onto the table, onto the coffee table even. Stretching through the underside of the shoulders, outside of rib cage. And bring the weight fully back to the legs. Lift the chest. We can set the block to the side. Plant the hands to the floor. And we're going to come down onto hands and knees. Do make sure your knees are still on something soft, even if your hands are slightly off the edge of the mat. Please step your left leg wide. We're set up for our gate pose, but leave the hands to the floor for now. As you inhale, lift the chest, cow pose, tipping the hips back. As you exhale, rounding like a cat pose spine. Inhale back to a cow pose, lift the chest. And as you exhale, we may need to start to walk the hands back slightly, standing up onto the right knee and the left foot. Slide left hand down left leg, right arm up and over, lengthen through whole right side. Lifting up, both arms up overhead, and hands land down to the floor in front of the right knee. Switching, left knee lands to the ground below left hip, stepping the right foot wide, grounding. Inhale, lift the chest to cow pose, shoulder blades back, hips tip back. Cat pose, exhale, round. Inhale back to cow pose. And start to walk the hands back. Exhale, stand up onto your left knee and right foot. Right hand slides down the leg. Left arm up and over. Inhale, raise up, both hands up over the head. And exhale, return the hands down in front of the left knee. And please take the left part in, right knee below the hips, and come into a seat. Coming into star pose, Tarasana. We'll sometimes call this diamond pose. In our first class of the series, we did butterfly with heels close to the hips, sitting tall. We'll take the heels farther away, holding onto the ankles or the shins. Same extension through the spine, lifting the chest. And as you exhale, begin to fold forwards. You might find the heels farther away is comfortable or the heels closer is comfortable, taking your preferred shape. And sitting back up. Take the knees toward one another. From here, please make your way onto your back. Releasing all the way down, making sure the head has a soft space to land. Taking the arms out to the sides into a T shape. Press the feet into the floor. Move the hips up and over to the right slightly, just an inch or two, so the spine will be straight once we're in our twist. Picking up the feet, knees over hips or navel. Release the knees to the left. Left arm can help anchor the legs while turning the head to the right. Breathing into right chest, whole right side, outside of right hip. Pressing the left arm into the ground, take the knees back up, and we'll switch. So please first plant the feet to the floor, especially if we shifted whole pelvis over. Move the hips up and over to the left slightly. Picking up the knees over hips or navel. Release the knees to the right. Right arm could help anchor the legs, turning the head to the left. And pressing the right arm into the floor, take the knees back up. Please plant the feet to the floor and move the hips back to the center, bringing a bit of strength back into the sides and the glutes before we rest. Arms down at the sides for bridge pose. Anchor through feet and shoulders into the floor. As you inhale, lift through the glutes to press up through hip creases, hip points through hip flexors. Exhales, hug the navel slightly back even as we stay lifted. Release the spine and the hips back to the floor. Stretch the arms straight out towards the tops of the legs and bring the tops of the legs up to meet the hands. Pressing hands to knees, pressing knees to hands. Create a bit of strength back into the navel. And hug the knees to the chest. Taking your preferred shape to rest, whether it's on your back, in a seat. Legs can be straight or knees knocking in. And observe the length of the spine here as you rest. As you inhale, feel the breath move up the spine to the crown of the head. As you exhale, release the breath down to the base of the spine or the soles of the feet, whichever makes more sense, depending on the shape you're in. Inhales to the crown of the head. Exhales toward the base of the spine or the soles of the feet. Return to the intention you had set at the beginning of your practice. How could we take this intention with you? What actions would help bring this intention from your practice into the rest of your day? What ways of thinking could help take this intention with you? And hug the knees back into the chest. Start to walk the feet back. Hug the knees in, roll to one side for a couple breaths. Pressing the hands into the floor, come up to a tall seat for a few more breaths. Energy back up the length of the spine, sitting tall, alert, awake, yet stable and grounded. Please bring the hands together at heart center, bowing your head to your chest, taking your practice and your intention with you. Namaste.